everyone like putting these, fantasy back fours in with Calafiori. Now, people are forgetting Timber.
Yeah,
now I know he
Timber,
needs to come back in slowly, but Timber is quality.
I don't know
That's a
how
good point.
like Calafiori, you don't just walk straight into
No,
the
you
Timber. Looked on this tour. He's looked like a beast, man.
You talk about earning your song. You got to earn your spot, bro. Like you got to really fight to get into that back four because it's solid.
Timber looks good,
Serious.
man. You know, on this tour, and I like him as a player. I remember last year in pre-season, he was absolutely brilliant, and he was so unlucky to get that injury. That guy's going to be chomping at the bit this season, you know.
We finally got the Calafiori deal done, Cozy. We finally, after all these weeks, we even stopped talking about him because it's just too much. We finally got it done. He finally signed for Arsenal. He's already trained, expecting him to make basically his debut against Liverpool. Would you start him or would you bring him off the bench?
Against Liverpool, off the bench. I think it's a new system, it's a new world, it's a new team, and I think he needs to look at those patterns. I would play Alexander Zinchenko against Liverpool at left back. And before people snap, let me explain. I think with Riccardo Calafiori, what he needs to do is he needs to learn and look at someone, observe the way we play in that position, and probably, learn, right? I think the inverting from centre back, we have Jurrien Timber who has done that very well in this preseason. So he's going to look at Timber and like, oh, this is how the manager wants us to invert from centre back. From inverting in wide areas from full back, it's Alexander Zinchenko. He's best at doing that. Is the best business. So I would say start Zinchenko, let Calafiori be on the bench, let him see what Zinchenko does, how he moves into the midfield, where he ends, where he stops, and then just get a leaflet of what he's going to do. Because with Mikel Arteta, I remember watching James Lawrence Alcott, and he said one of the things that Mikel loves is telling you what to do. So he gives you a certain position and he gives you a role and a set of instructions. So you execute those instructions in that position, the role is complete. So I think although Riccardo Calafiori was very, very good for Italy, what we saw is that he had a lot of freedom and free role, which is not going to get at Arsenal. At Arsenal, you have players like Jurrien who he can have like 200 touches himself in a game. He's always so much on the ball. So it's going to be a specific role. It's not going to be I'm anywhere I want to be. Not really. This is a well-segmented Arsenal side. We play on a segmented pitch. That's how we train. Different boxes, different zones. So he needs to look at what kind of zones am I going to be looking to occupy? How am I going to be entering those zones? And how am I going to be exiting those zones? What are my roles defensively against the machine like Liverpool? What are my roles going forward as a defender as well? So let him start on the bench and let's see how he learns from Zinchenko.
I'm absolutely excited to see him playing. Now, I have another reason of him coming on the second half. I agree with all that. I'd also bring in Martinelli in the second half. I want to see a glimpse of Calafiori and Martinelli on the pitch at the same time because you and a lot of other people have said, Martinelli didn't really have anyone behind him. And I agree, Saka, Odegaard, and Ben White and Salib on that side. And for our left side, we've been changing. Xhaka left, and then Rice was playing there sometimes. Rice was playing as a number 6 sometimes. We had Vieira playing at the 8. Havertz playing at the 8. Left back, we had like 6 different players, so you never really had anyone behind Martinelli consistently. So if you have Calafiori playing there consistently, it would be incredible. But last one on Calafiori, there's a couple of people who've been saying, a couple of Italian experts saying this guy should be playing as a centre back. Don't waste him at left back. He should be a centre back. Do you think there's a chance of that happening? Because for me, I feel like Gabriel is too important in this team, surely.
What I'm going to say is I kind of agree with the Italian fears. When you have a talent like Riccardo Calafiori, it's the same thing with the Croatians. When you have a player like Jesco Givardio, you see him as the future of centre back for your Italian national team, for your Croatian national team. But I think that is the minimalist way of looking at football. That is the simplistic way of looking at football. I think football has evolved too much that we are going to see Arsenal line up with 4 centre backs in next season. Like 4 centre backs. Guys, the guys on your screen are centre backs. None of them is a right back. None of them is a left back. All of them are centre backs, right? And the guys that are going to be coming from the bench, Tomiyasu is a centre back, and Jurrien Timber is a centre back too, right? What does that tell you?
And Kivio as well if he stays.
And Kivio is a centre back too.
We don't have any full backs at all.
That tells you that football has evolved. That tells you that football has actually moved from the phase of positions and numbers. This is a number 3. This is a number 2. Now, there are some teams that are still looking to do that. You have the likes of, Man United trying to sign, Mazraoui from Bayern. And you can see that they're trying to have a proper right back in that position. But for Arsenal, it's different. Even if he plays at centre back, he's a player who's going to be inverting. In his interview, he was asked, who do you play like the most? And he said, John Stones. What does John Stones do? John Stones is a centre back that literally inverts from centre back into midfield. And that's where he does much of his work. So I think what they should be scared of is what Mikel Arteta is going to turn him into. The way England are saying, we use Declan Rice as a 6 at the best of our midfield, and at Arsenal is used as an attacking midfielder. And it's very, very different, right? Maybe that's what they're scared of. But if they want him to play at centre back, not left back, I don't think Arsenal really have this kind of left back where you're whipping in crosses. I don't think.
His character, out of the first interviews you've seen of him and his, talking to Arteta and all that, does he strike you as a player who's going to fit in right away?
Yeah. He's first and foremost, he's very confident. And I think
looks very confident.
He loves Arsenal. He loves to be there. I've seen a few rumors that Chelsea were all trying to offer him as much as double what we're trying to offer, but he wasn't interested. He loves Arsenal. He loves doing what he loves being a part of this side. And I think that's the first step for you to impress Mikel. And then the other thing, he does something different. And when you look at him, on the training page for the first time, he's a player who feels like there is something I'm going to add to this team.
I belong here.
So I belong here. Yeah. So he's so confident.
So very, very interesting. I cannot wait for Calafiori to get started. He was actually said he was at the game between Arsenal and Crystal Palace when he beat them 5-0 after the Dubai trip. So interesting. That was before the Italian league resumed. So he's definitely an Arsenal fan. I cannot wait for him to get started. Beating all those teams to him. Fantastic. Now,